Now, in other news, a newly created agency to identify and root out what the Trump administration deems wasteful government spending is sending shockwaves across Washington, D.C. and the United States. Critics accuse the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, of overstepping its authority and waging war against the federal bureaucracy. And they reserve their harshest criticism for the unelected official at its helm, the world's richest man, Elon Musk. Now, for more on this story, I'm joined by our world affairs commentator, Douglas Herbert. Doug, great to see you.
How are you?
DOGE has been up and running for what, barely 3 weeks now, and it's
Tomorrow
already
will be 3 weeks.
Tomorrow will be 3 weeks. It's caused so much upheaval in such a short span of time. Tell us more.
You said at the beginning that for those who are taking fright at what's going on, this is a war being waged, an unchecked war being waged against the entire sweep of the federal government, causing massive upheaval in almost every sector you look in. Emails, panicked emails being exchanged among civil servants, not just in Washington, but really worldwide. Elon Musk, as you said, the world's richest man, is also at the head of some of the most colossally giant companies that are under government contract, which is why a lot of the critics are saying that this is perhaps one of the biggest and most colossal conflicts of interest in American history. You know, a presidential historian named Douglas Brinkley, he basically said that Elon Musk right now is akin to the Lone Ranger, and has limitless running room. He is operating literally with no accountability, beyond scrutiny, meaning there's no one at least discernible who can control him for the moment. He moved his bed into quarters near the White House. He works weekends. He probably doesn't sleep too much. And who can stop him?
He's tweeting all the time.
He's tweeting all the time. What they've done is when the word that's been used to describe it is a sweeping incursion into all aspects of federal life. So he's looked to shutter down certain programs, but also to just shut down one of the biggest American humanitarian aid and development
USAID.
programs, perhaps the world's biggest, USAID, right now. These have been stop-go things because they've been trying to push on it, and then there have been court orders trying to stop them. But the big ones have been, trying to basically dismantle USAID, decades-long pillar of sort of the U.S. footprint in the world, a humane footprint for some of the world's poorest, those in need of medical supplies, and so on and so forth. But also, more recently, the access to Treasury payment systems data. This has been really sharply challenged. Basically, Musk and his very young hired musketeers, as they've been called, going into the systems of the Treasury, and a lot of civil rights activists basically saying this is completely illegal, violates potentially federal laws, getting access to some of the most private information, people's social security numbers, their bank account numbers, everything pertaining to Medicare, healthcare, Social Security, you name it. So raising more than just a few hackles, really raising eyebrows across the nation.
Doug, the United States is a country of checks and balances, and those checks and balances in the past few weeks have been coming from the judiciary. We've seen but how long can judges keep up to speed with those activities? Because every day there's something else.
Delano, you're hitting right on it. The legal system, the judicial system in America, is by design slow and deliberative. What we're seeing in DOGE and the way it's working with this, what it believes is a sweeping mandate to basically radically revamp the federal bureaucracy, it is not taking its time. It is anything but slow and deliberative. It is near daily. We are seeing incursions into a new agency, threats of laying off or furloughing employees. The judges they're trying to keep up. There have been 4 federal lawsuits, basically, trying to slow down or stop these directives to shutting down agencies and so on and so forth. 19 state attorneys general in the U.S. Each state has its own top legal justice and attorney general. 19 of those, led by the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James, have basically sued the Trump administration, trying to get it to stop what it sees as an illegal incursion into some of the most private, unauthorized incursion, as it sees it, into some of Americans' most private and sensitive data. Potentially also in breach of congressional authority, because the debate now, it's Congress normally that decides whether or not to cut off spending to certain agencies, whether to shut those agencies down. Is it Elon Musk, a part-time, unelected official who could single-handedly have the authority now to shut these things down? So there's that. The courts are doing their thing, and also some Democratic lawmakers in Congress have written letters to the Treasury Inspector General basically saying, answering their questions. What is Musk doing? This is a conflict of interest. You need to answer some of our basic questions about what's going on right now at DOGE. We don't have that many people on the streets. There's not a lot of public restiveness, so it's left to the courts, a slow-moving system, and the goodwill of some Democratic lawmakers.